Okay, let's unpack this. You know when you take a photo of like a stunning landscape, but the camera autofocuses on one tiny speck of dust on the
Oh,
lens?
yeah. Completely ruins the shot.
Right. Suddenly the entire picture is ruined by that single minuscule flaw. Well, welcome to today's deep dive, tailored just for you. Today, we're pulling from excerpts of The Architecture of Charity Beyond Behavior.
And our mission today is really to figure out why we naturally reduce complex humans to their most frustrating habits and, how we can intentionally shift our focus to see the actual person behind the problem.
Because we so easily fall into this, it's a dangerous mental trap, right? Merging someone's behavior with their entire identity.
Yeah, it really is. But it's actually a deeply ingrained cognitive survival mechanism. When someone acts in a way that's difficult or frustrating, your brain just doesn't have the time or the mental energy to analyze their entire life story.
Right, because complex humans take up a lot of mental RAM.
Exactly. So to save energy, the brain relies on heuristics,
Hmm.
mental shortcuts. It compresses all of their nuance into a low-resolution, sort of pixelated label like, they're difficult or they are careless.
Wow, so it's essentially a mental zip file for human interaction. It saves space, but you lose all the high-quality detail.
You really do lose it, yeah.
It's like leaving a one-star review for a restaurant just because the waiter dropped a single fork. You completely blind yourself to the rest of the menu.
Right, and over time, those snap impressions solidify. You stop interacting with the actual person in front of you,
Yeah.
and, well, you start interacting with your compressed interpretation of them.
So the judgment becomes heavy and compassion wears incredibly thin.
Yeah, because if a person simply is the problem, your brain calculates that there's no room for them to change.
Wait, but if the text is asking us to look for the hidden weight people carry, like their stress or unseen fears or past wounds, isn't that just a convenient excuse for toxic behavior?
Right.
Am I just letting someone off the hook because they had a bad day?
Well, uh, what's fascinating here is that the source addresses that exact fear by introducing the concept of clarity. Seeing the soul beyond the sin doesn't require abandoning your boundaries at all.
Okay, so wrong behavior is still wrong.
Exactly. Wrong behavior is still wrong, and truth must be spoken. Understanding a person's hidden weight explains the behavior, but it doesn't justify it.
Explain versus justify. Let's actually break that down because I feel like that fundamentally changes how we approach conflict.
Changes everything, honestly.
Like if I justify someone snapping at me, I'm saying their action was acceptable. But if I explain it by recognizing they are under immense pressure, I maintain the boundary that snapping is unacceptable while still seeing them as a full human being.
Right. It's the shift from managing a persistent problem to viewing someone as a person who is simply, in process. But maintaining that clarity requires active discipline.
Because our default setting is that low resolution judgment.
Yeah, simply because it's computationally easier for the brain.
Which brings us to the discipline of perspective. The source highlights a surprisingly simple tool to short circuit that mental compression, which is literally just pausing.
It's the single pause.
Yeah, you literally say to yourself, there may be more here than I am seeing. Just introducing that single sentence creates a gap between their action and your reaction.
Right. It forces your brain to widen the lens. You're basically forcing the brain to allocate more computational resources to the situation.
So you aren't excusing the behavior at all.
No, not at all. You're expanding your perspective so charity actually has the space to operate.
So how do you actually put this to work today? Here is a direct challenge based on the text. Think of one specific person in your life that you find difficult.
We all have at least one.
Oh, definitely. Notice those immediate low-resolution labels that pop into your head. Now, pause. Widen the lens.
And ask yourself, what invisible pressures might they be under right now?
Yeah, and what genuine strengths do they have that your brain is actively filtering out?
Right. And as you mull that over, consider this final thought from the text. It notes how expectation profoundly shapes interaction and growth.
Oh, that's a really good point.
Think about your own life. How much of your own growth might have been temporarily stunted because someone else trapped you in a rigid pattern? They hyper-focused on your speck of dust and completely missed your landscape. Imagine what might happen if you started applying this architecture of charity, not just to others, but to yourself.